All right, cool. Are we live now, Harry?
We are live.
Hey, hello to if anyone is actually watching. There might be actually. Yeah, cool. All right. Is anyone else going to say hello? I think so.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Cool. All right. Yeah, to those who are watching this in the future on YouTube, or if there is anyone watching right now, hello. This is Eaters the Earth. It's a D&D live stream we've hastily slapped together. That's why it doesn't. Well, it looks good enough actually. We're doing all right.
I think aesthetically it's pretty good, and I think
Okay,
whoever
sure.
did the tech for this should be
Did a very good job.
should be given 100% raise on the 0 salary that we're on right now.
Anyway,
Sorry,
to
I'm
give
not.
some
I'm
context,
not. I'm not going to vape in the show. All right? I'm
Not
not
gonna
going to
vape too
vape. No, it's not going to happen this time. The test.
Okay.
The
How
test
How will
run
anyone
was a
know
test
you're
run.
cool
Oh, that is true.
if you're not ripping that cotton?
Anyway, to give some context to this, so we had a previous game of Dungeons & Dragons going with some of the people here, but unfortunately due to COVID-19 we had to shut that down. Couldn't all be meeting in the same office, given the office is closed. So we've put this one together. If there's anyone coming from previously watching Eaters the Earth, we did manage to accumulate a few fans at least. This will be in the same time, every Thursday, 7 PM till 10 PM GMT. If there's anyone from who watched the previous campaign, we're missing Seb because he doesn't have the internet bandwidth to be able to join the live stream. Yeah, we pray for him in his trying times. Anyway, should we all go around and say hello and who we are? Is that fine? I'm Liam. I'm the Dungeon Master. Harry, do you want to introduce yourself if you want to, or?
I am Harry.
There we go. Okay. Well, the usual order we'll do things is Harry, then Amelia.
Solid.
Shannon.
Well,
Oh, and you can say something if you want. By the way.
I'm Amelia. That's my name and that's who I am.
Cool. Shannon.
I'm Shannon. I'm the fan favorite from the last campaign. I'm back again.
That's true. Sam.
Hello, I am Sam, and we back, baby.
And lastly, we have Grace, who currently has a few mic troubles, but she'll be joining us momentarily. Anyway,
And we have
That's-
our first Shannon celebration in the chat.
Thank you.
there we go. Oh yeah, Necro Kings has joined us again. Say woo for Shannon. Cool. Right. Is everyone ready to begin?
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
A new story of Eaters of the Earth. Right. Let me just get up a little bit of music. Hopefully this will work. Everyone tell me if this is all going horribly wrong.
how do we get the
Right.
track up?
Can everyone hear that music softly playing in the background?
No. No, you
Okay.
very much
Brilliant.
can't.
Not at all.
Let me just try this. Is that coming through?
Yeah.
A little
Sometimes.
bit.
All right, I'm going to turn it up a touch. There we go.
Yeah.
Cool.
No.
It's going to
Alright.
come through when you speak, I think.
Is it? Okay, is it? I have to, so it's cutting out my audio. We really wanted to test for this, but we didn't have time. I don't think.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess I'll just have to keep talking all the time then. So, shall we begin? I'm sure I can do that. In 1,000 different tongues, the same story is told. That gods once walked the earth. They that seized the lightning and split the mountain. They that erected glittering cities and worked wonders there in those sacred halls of Chrome. They are known by many different names. There is one title known to all: the Eaters of the Earth. Their domain was absolute. One day, suddenly, they skipped away. Now the salty soil is walked by lesser folk, such as yourselves. Harry, could you switch to the map screen, please?
Yep, I can.
In a world such as this is the land of Alakvazi, named for the Alak mountain range and the Vazi Delta that rests beneath it. Quiet place, Alakvazi has always been little more than a crossroads to the greater political powers surrounding it. To the east, beyond the salt desert Z, is the vast empire of Thype. And south, beyond the silent steppe, is Odrum, land of the kneeling men. The wars that established the Khanate of Udrind over Alakvazi were generations ago, little more now than stories to tell children. Peace has reigned since. For a blessed 2 centuries, the Alakvazi people have contentedly tended to their labours in quiet seclusion. But now everything has changed. Only one lunar cycle ago, the land shook for 3 days and 3 nights, and when they subsided, the earth before the city of Udrind split open, revealing a vast silver city of the gods. At the center of the sacred metropolis rises a gold tower, eerily similar in appearance to the ziggurat of Nusku, the ancient temple of Udrind. Now, mothers scare children with half-remembered stories of 3 towers rising from the soil to bring about the end of the world. And with the emergence of this holy site ripe for plunder, political forces to stake their claim on this glittering jewel within the weak land of Alakvazi. To only compound these problems, to the southwest, the Oseth people come in drove, fleeing the collapse of their kingdom, bringing with them the Shale Plague, and rumors travel that Khan Dozar falls into madness. Peace has reigned in Alakvazi for a blessed 2 centuries, and it still does. But a building tension hangs in the air, which may soon erupt into conflict and strife. Just for those who are unaware, a lunar cycle is a little bit more than a month. I didn't know that before.
We're gonna have to
Right,
lose the music, I think.
You think? Is it really
So
dipping
whenever
us out?
you
Sorry.
take a dramatic pause in the sentence, it cuts off,
Sorry.
which is
Okay.
really annoying. I'm sorry.
Okay, no, it's fine. I mean, hopefully we can fix it for the next time, but I guess I'll drop music for this session. All right, well, anyway, for now, let us not concern ourselves with the wider world. Our story starts in smaller circumstances. Oh, Harry?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Are you covering the things you can vape quickly? Anyway, our story starts
How
in
did you know?
circumstances in a place, come on, where conflict and strife are already well known. At the tail end of the mountains, known as the Range of Lions, is Osiro, a fledgling hamlet where some of the Oseth people try to fashion a new home. Here, refugees hunt a mountain range where they can become prey just as easily as they would find food, and till grey soil in which crops find little purchase. It is a harsh place, and the scent of sickness, barely masked by burning herbs, hangs heavy in the air. Through this place walks a young woman. Shannon, would you like to describe your character?
I didn't think I was gonna start, but okay.
Yeah.
Carolia, she is small in stature. She's got dark skin and hair with yellow eyes with like a black slit pupil. Her skin is quite rough and scaled in places, like the back of her hand. And when she smiles, you can see that her teeth are sharpened like a crocodile.
On your way to Alakvazi, you perhaps would have spied the distant spires of the fallen Oseth kingdom rising above the jungle canopy. These crumbling yet majestic structures that appear to be crafted from bone itself. Now, though, these people live in these crude clay dwellings and mostly just huts made of long grass. What is it you've been doing here in Osiro?
I stopped off here on my way to a larger city. I was meant to leave sooner, but it seemed like the people needed my help, so I just stayed.
Sure.
All what aid I could.
So now we just quickly, Grace, is your mic working now?
You tell me.
Yes, it is. You're a little quiet, but yeah, you're coming in through nice and clear. Cool. So once you get the volume up, I think we're good. So to describe the Oseth people, they are the bone-skinned people. Yeah, Grace, I think your sound's good now. Cool. Their body, kind of after puberty, naturally grows this hard, pale carapace, like bone, which many of them, to kind of denote status, will sculpt by using kind of wood and bark and so on, bound to them into particular shapes. And they also, perhaps would have noticed that a lot of them have a certain visual affinity with insects. Some of them engrave their bodies to mark particular insects. Their attire, generally just very simple white cloth. Many of them colour them with turquoise trim, but that colour has largely faded for those that have it. While you're here, so you say you've been helping people, perhaps, with healing. I'll say then, while you're here, you've probably been in contact with Sethnet, who is kind of emerging as kind of one of the more charismatic, level-headed leaders amongst his people. Have you been here, do you think, for just maybe like a day or a while?
Say like half a week.
Sure. Then he probably will have at some point told you that the reason his forearms are engraved with ants and the reason he has a kind of this kind of protruding bone chin, something like a facsimile of a beard, is to mark him out as one of the noble warrior caste, although of course these castes have dissolved since the fall of the Oseth kingdom. So you've been here for a while, you're perhaps tending to the sick. You will have at some points probably maybe borne witness to those who suffer the shale plague, which is particularly harsh upon the Oseth people as it kind of crumbles away their carapace, and with that, they do not have skin. With your limited abilities, those who are suffering from it badly, you have not been able to save. It is beyond you to reverse the flow of this sickness, currently at least. Perhaps right now you're sort of getting a fairly small cup of water and just drinking and just trying to center yourself when a cry calls out at the periphery of Osiro, and you turn to see two Oseth carrying between them a limp figure, and one of them calls out, "Is there a healer? Is there a healer anywhere here?"
I run over.
Sure. You see, dangling between the two of them is a completely unconscious figure. But despite their unconsciousness, they have maintained a grip on a rather long staff-like object. Grace, would you like to describe your character?
Oh,
So Haley is she's a young woman.
Little quiet.
Grace, can you just turn the
might
volume
have
up a
to
little bit more?
project a bit
You
more.
want my volume up
Or
now?
project, yeah.
Just scream straight into the microphone.
Let's smash that volume up. Is that better?
That's
Mhm.
better.
oh yeah.
Lovely. So Ailey is a young woman. She is covered in a fine down like a cat across her body, and she wears a plain and practical robe as a monk might. She has a small satchel which maybe one of the people is carrying, and she grips tightly, even in her unconsciousness, a long staff which ends in a ring of bronze around which several other rings hang. Sorry, they hang from it like they're looped through the ring. She's unconscious. She says nothing.
Sure. So Ailey was crossing towards Alekvazi over the Silent Steppe to the kind of the southwest. But eventually coming over the land ridge and seeing Alekvazi before you, you realize you were very, very far from your destination, and a combination of a lack of water and food for for at least a day, and realizing how much further you have to go, you kind of succumbed and fell, and perhaps have only caught kind of fleeting moments of consciousness of being carried. These two Oseth quickly lay your limp body upon a straw mat. Shannon, what are you doing?
I immediately get down and start to examine her body. I look up at the two Oseth that carry her and ask if they can give me any details on.
We found her unconscious while we were searching on the steppe. A monk of some sort. We didn't. We were unsure what to do.
Well, thank you for bringing her to me. I can say I was definitely going to do an accent and I chickened out. I'm sorry. It'll come in at some point. Maybe we'll see. Yeah, I gently pour water into her mouth.
Cool. You take what little water you have and gently pour it on her dry, cracked lips. You do drink, but she is still a ways away from consciousness. You think she may be slightly harmed physically just by the kind of...
Can I do a little medicine check?
Absolutely. Yeah, sure. Roll a d20 and give me a medicine check.
Okie dokie.
First roll of the game.
And I think
Yeah,
because you have physical contact with her, you have advantage on this, I believe.
Ooh, okay.
So first roll
2
of the game.
D20s.
I'm really looking forward to dying before I even get unconscious or say anything.
Natural 1, you kill her immediately.
Is that dice rolling for anyone? Because it's not rolling for me.
It's roll for me. You've got an 18.
Got an 18? Okay, 18 plus something, definitely. 19. I got a 19.
Okay. You think it's a combination of overexertion, exhaustion, dehydration. You do see that her feet have become cut and bloodied. This person's sandals have kind of been worn down enough to be abrating her feet on the harsh stone of the step. But do you think perhaps some of your power may be able to help her?
My powers that I definitely know.
Yes.
I'm going to cure wounds. That's obviously what I'm going to do. I'd like to cast cure wounds, please.
Okay, sure. Just at level 1?
Yeah.
Okay, so you place you place your hands upon this unconscious person, and you breathe, and you feel something flow through you, through your palms, into her, and disperse through her, and certainly kind of stir some of this person's natural healing abilities to life. You move them into gear, and although perhaps unnoticed, the people around, the bleeding feet just slightly knit up, bleeding stops. Perhaps some of the gauntness slightly fades from the cheeks, and a calm overcomes the unconscious person for a moment. But then the woman begins to shudder and toss as if gripped by a nightmare. Ailey. And I did have a really good song for this bit, but tragically we're gonna have to miss it out. I managed to get permission to use the music of a Buddhist monk who's also a techno DJ, but tragically we'll have to save it for another time. Anyway,
What an excellent life
what?
to lead.
Ailey, somewhere between the waking world and a dream, you see a vision of an obsidian obelisk. Within its smooth facets, strange imagery emerges to reveal in turn even stranger imagery in a kaleidoscopic display. Within a wreath of purple smoke ascends a tower. Within the tower, a face unknown to you opens, its eyes and teeth color blue. And within the mouth, a small container opens in turn to reveal a pure red in the shape of a diamond. And then the obelisk speaks, without a voice and in a language you do not know, and yet you understand. Tower, seek. Wizard, gain trust. Diamond, take. And then you wake up, panting and sweating, to see this person above you with their hands on your chest.
So,
Do you say anything?
I think first thing A does is she looks around and she says nothing, and she reaches for the staff, makes sure it's there,
Still there?
and she reaches for her knife if she can find it,
Still there?
and she grips the handle and she says, "Who are you? Where am I?"
I think I just saved your life, so you're welcome.
Who are you?
I'm
And where
Corellia.
am I?
Osa?
Osiro. is
How-
the name.
Osira.
How far is Odran
Liam, do I know
from
that?
here?
Do you mean Udrund? The city of Udrund?
Oh, I'm so sorry, Udrand.
Uh,
I'm a foreigner to these lands. I don't know the name of the place.
yeah, nice. Shannon, you wouldn't know, but are you saying this particularly loud, Grace, or are you saying it kind of quiet enough for just this person above you to hear?
If the healer doesn't know,
No,
she
you do
asks
not
more
know.
loudly to other people around.
Sure. Repeating your words, you see a tall man made of bone, apparently, a sight unknown to you. And I probably should add that the Offseth people do not really have noses. The carapace upon them rather diminishes it, so there's just kind of two holes. So they do have a rather skull-like appearance.
Oh, they're those creatures from the Doctor Who Christmas special.
Yeah, actually, maybe. Yeah, I vaguely remember them.
The ones in the big ship, the woman who's like a weird Thatcher allegory shoots at the end. Solid scene. Sorry.
Yeah, one of them cuts off
Which
Doctor Who's
Doctor
hand, I
Who
think.
Christmas special?
Trademark.
The first Tennant one, I think.
Yeah, the one where he eats a tangerine
Oh.
or something.
No, he
So I
throws the
remember-
tangerine. He eats
Anyway,
the
I think
we're
getting a
tangerine
little.
with
Sorry.
teeth.
Not
Liam
the
has
one-
officially lost dominance over the
Well,
group.
I mean, Harry
Okay.
is really, really quiet. I am trying to fix that. Can you hear me? Am I better? Is that
Harry, you
better?
fade out sometimes, but
Hopefully that's better.
quite loud now. Anyway, so Ailey saying this louder. One of the Urseth, this one with you see the appearance of an ant engraved onto their forearms, will say, Aldrind is at least a few weeks from here. I'm afraid you may have strayed in the wrong direction, Pilgrim. Where do you come from?
I come from Dwerinish. It's and Ailey tries to sit up, and then she kind of sways, and then she settles back down, and she says, maybe I do need a healer after all. And her eyes close.
They all come to me in the end. Or the beginning. Usually not the middle.
Okay, so you close your eyes again. Are you just kind of lying there and just trying to regain yourself? You have
I
a
think
certain
she lets
energy
go
to
of her
yourself.
knife.
I will say you have a certain energy to yourself that surprises you. You've gone from being exhausted to, I mean, you're not, you're not full of energy, but you feel you could, if be a bit shaky, you could definitely get up and walk around. Something has kind of come over you, spurred you on, as it were.
So I think Ailey closes her eyes for a minute, and then she sits up and she says, "Did you heal me with magic?"
Are
I
you
feel like
not
I could-
cool with that? Is that not...
Oh, no. No, it's fine. I'm suddenly very hungry. Actually, can we get something to eat?
Probably.
What do they use for money here? I think I drank all my water.
You drank all your money, friend.
Alas.
We perhaps can trade you a few things if you have objects of value, but we don't have much to share, I'm afraid.
So this is me role-playing as I frantically look at what my inventory actually contains.
Fair enough.
Let me have a look at my
And-
wares.
Yeah. Ailey looks at her meager possessions and says,
Well, any payment you were planning to give me for healing your people these last few days, I would be happy to share with this traveller. Talking to
Ailey is
Liam.
suspicious but doesn't decline.
Talking to the bone people, Liam.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were speaking to Ailey. Where is it you're traveling to, Kareli? Yeah.
Onwards.
Onwards.
Noise.
We have a wise woman heading to Behel that is perhaps too old to make the passage herself. Why did you come here?
Is Behel in the direction of Udrunt?
Udrind is to the northwest. Behel is just north. But the rusted road can carry you more easily than the countryside will.
I am heading in that direction. I can take the old woman.
Would this be agreeable
I'll
to you?
be-
We cannot offer anything in exchange, but we have saved your life. Perhaps that has some currency.
If there is no charge on your hospitality, I will be happy to leave unmolested.
Food and water for aiding a wise woman's passage, then. That sits well with me.
That would be kind.
And you, Corellia, what will you do?
Well, gee, I think I'll go too.
Well, gee.
Oh, jeez.
Jeez.
Okay, just one second. Let me just check my notes. Okay. Okay. So I think while Ailey is recuperating, you will be brought at some point a kind of small amount of slightly brackish water and some food, kind of tough tubers, perhaps a small amount of meat. But to a hungry stomach, it is a decent meal. And you think a generous enough share for what little these people have. I will say perhaps while you're eating, you do perhaps catch in the background the faint sounds of coughing and kind of subdued pain, and maybe look around to see a kind of darkened clay structure, its entrance covered by... Harry, what are you doing?
Can't see what that is, Harry.
Damn it.
Can't see what that is, Harry.
Never
You
mind.
trying to cover up vaping again? Anyway, you will perhaps hear the sounds of people suffering from within, and you see a few burning bushels of this this rather shaggy red flour that brings a certain sickly smell over it. But you do catch the faint whiffs of sickness coming from this place.
Maybe too hot a question right now, but can me and Ailey catch this plague?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Oh, great.
Good question.
Yeah.
I love that.
And I will say perhaps you also begin to notice there are a few of these similar structures around the place, these clay buildings with cloth-covered doors and windows with this burning flour outside. While you're eating alone, Corellia and I keep forgetting his name. Come on, Sethnet. Sethnet will take you aside, Corellia, and sit down. Say, I do wish I could keep you here. You are gifted in healing in the ways that we have lost. We've lost a lot of knowledge. Someone just rolled dice.
I didn't mean to do that. I'm so sorry.
Don't worry.
I'm just getting antsy.
Shannon, are you saying anything?
Yes, but could I also say that as I'm like knowledgeable in medicine and stuff, could I have taken some precautions to maybe lessen my chance of getting the plague
What's
in
the
my
plague?
day here?
What's the plague called?
The shale plague, because it makes your skin into like shale.
That's good. I thought it was going to be something very on the nose, but
No, I'm not
Loaded.
that yeah, just COVID-20. Anyway.
COVID.
Yeah, I mean, you can
2000.
try. Of course, most of your ability does rely on a certain amount of contact. So you can tell me if you've just been staying away from anyone you think has this plague. But I mean, it is worth bearing in mind that you don't have any formal education in disease, so you may not be that sure on how disease spreads.
Okay, never mind then. I'm a adorable little dumbass. I would have been touching the plague all over.
Anyway, so Seth has kind of said they haven't asked you to stay here, but they have expressed sadness that you seem to be leaving.
Well, is there anyone amongst you who has shown a propensity for medicine?
The only one left is the wise woman who will be traveling with the...
Oh, the one that's leaving
Priest.
as well. That's great.
She has
Really
lost
helpful.
ability in her old age, but still has enough clarity to her to, we hope, beseech help from the wizards of Behel, who may be able to cure this sickness. We think as it is
Behel?
a magical sickness that maybe they can do something.
Wizards in Behel?
Sorry?
Are there many wizards in Behel? Yeah.
Okay. He turns to look at you across the way and says, "Yes, have you not heard? It is a...
I've travelled
Sorry,
a long
many
way.
people here have caught the sickness.
I've I've
Behel
traveled
is
a
a
long
city
way.
of
I'm not
wizardry.
from here.
Yes, it is.
Oh.
It is known to be an ancient and wise city. I don't know
I'm
much of
glad.
it. This is all I've gained from travelers who come through here. I'm not from these parts originally. But yeah,
Shall
it
I
is our
put
wish
the
that.
map screen up for a second for the sort of benefit of people getting their
Yeah,
bearings
sure.
again?
Sorry. Yeah. So, sorry, where were we? So yes. So Sethnet will perhaps turn back to you, Corelia, and say, "Please, if I don't have much to give, but it would be very helpful to me if you could also ensure that our wise woman, her name is Lapore, makes it to Behel."
Yeah, of course. And I will, on my travels, I will spread the word of your plight as well. And if anyone can help, I'll send them your way.
I fear that there are many who have already knowledge of the sickness who fear us for seeing that we may carry it to them. So
That's crazy. That's not how disease spreads. It's just
I know,
from
but no. He kind of looks at you with sad eyes, within a skull head.
Has Ailey seen the Shale Plague around as she has travelled?
No. It
Okay.
was not something in your native land. So this may be even the first time you've heard of it. Well, I have things to attend to, but first I will introduce our wise woman, and then I will go. He heads off a bit. You're left alone for a few minutes. Do you say anything to each other, or do you just kind of eat what little you've got in silence?
What was your name again?
My name is Ailey. I come from the Temple of Dwer Inish.
I come from the Temple
At
of
least,
Dwer Altish. I must have just missed each other.
Oh. Really? I've never heard of Dwer Altish. Have you come as far as I have?
Probably much farther.
That's very strange. I've never met anyone who's been traveling in my direction.
Should I ask, is Corelia trying to convincingly lie here?
No, Quillia did not. Quillia thought she would take that as a joke and is now deeply uncomfortable.
Sure. Okay. Okay.
I think Ailey is very suspicious, but she's among a lot of people she doesn't trust enough to know if they're joking.
Okay.
So she's just sort of like...
The cool stuff you've got there. Change the subject.
and she pulls it a bit near and she says, "It is, yes." And she just holds it.
You said that she doesn't use it like a walking stick, right?
Yeah, she carries it sort of like a treasure.
Okay. Doesn't seem to be doing
it's-
much good in your arms there.
It's not a tool.
Yes.
It's
yes, it
sacred.
is. Cool.
Sacred
And
things are
cutting
for
into the
using.
slightly awkward conversation, Sethnet comes up with a older woman at his side. You see, she walks with a stoop and has a cane that is really just a piece of driftwood to support herself. She has slightly more elaborate clothing than the other people here. A fully turquoise piece of cloth that is fastened over one of the shoulders, with a small piece of jewellery that combines gold and lapis. Although you can see that some parts of lapis insets of this jewel scarab have fallen out. It seems to be slightly bad disrepair. And she similarly has engraved onto her shoulders the imagery of a scarab. She has this similar kind of bone, beard, chin thing to Sethnet, but also has a kind of small ridge. Do we know what a uraeus is?
Not even a little bit.
Sounds filthy.
It's uraeus is the small thing that kind of on the top of the head of like Egyptian sarcophagi. Typically, this kind of snake-shaped thing, but for her, it's a similar uraeus, that's small, rising shape that's almost kind of splits, almost like perhaps a kind of a stag beetle's horn or something. You notice also that perhaps her bones have lost the kind of clean, slightly beige whiteness to them. They've taken on a certain grayness. As she approaches, she kind of slightly shakily bows to both of you. Says, "I'm to understand that you are going to be helping me cross to Behel."
I love it when Liam does children of the elderly.
Well, it's hard trying to do the kind of slightly dry voice, and then also of the Oseth, and also an old woman. But yeah. Do you say anything to this, or do you just?
Nods and she says, "That is correct. I will be traveling to the City of Wizards with you."
Sorry, this is me clearing my throat. A holy person. That is good. That is preferable. I really need to drink some water. She perhaps slightly absent-mindedly offers out a hand to help you get up, maybe not realizing her own frailty.
Ailey takes it, but she kind of holds it as she climbs to her feet herself, rather than pulling herself up.
There's a certain softness to her grip that is not, a softness has overcome her body compared to the hard carapace of the. You don't know if this is part of this shale plague they're talking about, or just old age.
Okay. So she doesn't. Does she look visibly plagued?
She doesn't appear physically sick. She just physically sick. She just appears to be old. Winding down. This is a world where many people will die at 30, or whereas this person you think is quite a bit old. And it's kind of it's reached a point of longevity where it is just the length of her existence is beginning to physically break her. You're right, Harry.
Can I break from the narrative to ask a question about
Absolutely.
sort of
At any
sociology?
point,
If people are dying off at 30, what is the setting's idea of maturity? Like, do you become an
it's kind
adult
of between
at 13 or
yeah,
or earlier?
by and large, it's kind of 13 to 15, but social circumstances might make that a bit older if you're affluent circumstance, or if you're a more longer-lived race, of which there are some.
I'm trying to figure out then, like, how old Ailey is given the setting, because while I pictured her as in her 20s, that's ancient for how young I feel she is socially in this setting. So she should be maybe 13 or 14.
Sure. Okay, Shannon, you look across to see this person's age kind of going up and down a bit, trying to middle out around a kind of youngish age.
It might explain her, like, misanthropy, I guess, if she's 13.
You pick yourselves up, and
Sam, do you know that you're muted? Okay, never mind.
yes, Sam, she's muted. I assume you begin to put yourselves together to travel, unless you wish to stay here longer. Sethnet and this wise woman who has been introduced as Lepore seem keen to move as soon as possible.
We're ready to go, baby.
Yeah, Ailey is very keen to set off.
Sure.
As soon as she can walk comfortably,
Yeah, get up, and the cuts on your feet appear to have. There's a certain tenderness to them, but they appear to have healed up more or less. I think Aurelia, Seth will take you aside one more time before you leave, and hand you something that he seems to have brought back. It appears to be a small dagger, a small knife, not much longer than this. Really, it's a bit hard to tell. But it appears to be shaped of a single continuous piece of ivory,
Okay.
I don't expect you to have an appreciation for what this is, but I hope this can be a token of my gratitude for your help to my people. And he seems to be kind of getting the words out a bit difficultly.
Do I recognize it? Is it a religious?
I would say in your circumstances, you can see that it's a kind of a dagger, but I don't think you would recognize any of the significance of it beyond that. Although it's an art object as well, so it might hold some value.
Any proficiency in it's not something where I might be able to guess given my experience with religious symbolism or.
Sure,
practice?
yeah, okay. You can give me a religion check, yeah. I mean, he's telling this to Corelia, but
Oh, okay.
sorry, did I say take Alias side? I meant to say Corelia. Oops.
Oh well, I mean, if I'm not present, I just.
You can see it. I mean,
Okay.
sorry. He's taken Corelia side and he's tried to hand you this ivory dagger, basically.
I guess I am very perceptive. Oh, that's not a very good roll. I get a big 14.
A big 14. Yeah, you think this to you this, or you can tell us this is maybe an object of, maybe of some kind of spiritual value, but beyond that, you're not sure. But
Okay.
Sethnet says to you, Corelia, hopefully this can be some token of my appreciation, and you can do what you can to help my people further. It would, I would be forever in your debt.
I want to reach out and cup his bony face.
He seems to almost reflexively reach up and touch your hand to his on his face as well.
Oh,
That's fucking disgusting.
it's really roleplay, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a certain sadness to his eyes, a certain weariness.
And I say, I'm going to do everything I can to help your people.
Thank you.
Nice.
That's romance plot of the game, guys.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you think this person is at least twice your age.
Burn.
You don't get any sense that there's any romantic feeling here. It's more just kind of a certain amount of emotion. But sure. You're free to project onto it however you like.
Gonna burn.
We've all been locked up for a long time, Liam. Let me have this.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You can. Yeah. You can try to one of the romance options in the game.
No, this is not becoming Shannon's like romance outlet. This is absolutely. You can have your own stream for that if you want. Also, is my mic fucked or is it all right?
Strongly encourage you.
No, it's fine.
Harry, I strongly encourage you to run your own game where you're DM, and then you can decide who romances who.
Yeah,
Shannon, you're
Harry.
absolutely fine to romance anyone and everyone. Anyway,
Shannon, you.
Thanks.
you head out, and as you leave the periphery of Osiro, and the buildings and grass huts cease to occlude your vision, you look out and you see the land of Alakfazi descend beneath you. You can see the colours transition from harsh beige sandstone into the pale green, into the more lush colours of what you would believe to be the Vazi Delta, northwest. Harry, can you switch over to the map screen for this? Beyond, you see the Alak Mountains rise, this tremendous long belt, peaks of which some are snow-capped. An interesting sight that not all of you will have seen before. Sam, you're free to duck out, just let you know.
Okay, I'll be back in a sec.
And closer, directly northwards, you do see this not too far off city, the most prominent feature of which is a central rising tower. From even at this distance, you can see a thin plume of purple smoke slowly rises and dissipates into the air. And looking down into this valley, you can see that there are kind of ancient roads, pathways begin to kind of map out before you, and you're not far from that snakes its way along this riverside that runs through Behel. towards the city, and you begin to make your way there. Now, annoyingly, we are going to what?
That's what the noise is. It's
there's a weird clicking noise.
No, it's the clapping.
Of
We forgot the clapping, didn't we?
Clap for the NHS.
Yeah, clap for the NHS.
We're bad people.
Or give them more money. I don't know. That might be more helpful.
Better wages, not a medal, I think. Is my stance right now.
But the clapping's nice, isn't it? It's nice. It's good. That's just.
It's nice. Money would be better.
Yeah, obviously I would also support clapping and rage raises, but like I'll do the
Rage
clapping
rises.
and the
Rage raises.
I can do the clapping.
Rage
I
rises.
definitely support
alright.
rage rises.
I like when I open my birthday cards for it just to be a little clap. Just so
All right, well, we're going to briefly wait for Sam to get back now because this is exactly the moment where we transition over to his character. But
Oh, great.
Did I carry on with my cryptid quiz then?
I'd rather if you didn't, Shannon. Why don't you role play a conversation between you?
Oh yeah, that would make more sense. Yeah.
Yeah, as you get on the journey,
Something I want to do.
What do you want to do?
I want to go and trade for a pair of boots.
Trade.
I have I have some carved wooden art objects that I'm going to try and trade out for some decent footwear.
You don't really see many people on the. You don't really see anyone on the road. You might have to get to an actual city to trade.
I was foolish. I should have attempted to do it while I was still in the town. Ah well.
Tragic.
Yeah. Alas.
Yeah. Right, I'm not quite sure what to do now that Sam's ducked out at like exactly the wrong moment.
We can continue our discussion about like NHS wages if you like.
Yeah, should we just rant about NHS wages for a while?
But we can rant about the NHS, but I can't do my cryptid quiz.
Yeah, right, because
it's not an NHS quiz, is it?
Because one of them we don't talk enough about. So we clearly need to spend more time thinking about how terrible the world is, because that's why people watch the D&D podcast, really. Because this is a podcast, apparently.
Well,
it was going so well. I was being so intimidating, and then I used the wrong word. Nice. Anyway. Hi, welcome to my podcast.
Yeah, okay, we're going to do a hard pivot right now into podcasting.
Everyone get rid of your video.
Harry, cut the camera.
Yeah, cut the feed.
Go vape.
I promised myself I wouldn't end up doing a podcast.
2 minutes.
Go rip that sweet.
Sam, we fell apart without you.
Oh.
Anyway, are you, Sam? Are you good to get back into things? Because this is the bit where your character's coming in.
Oh, I'm ready.
So yeah, so Ailey, Carillia, and this wise woman Lepore have left Osiro. You're heading north. You see the tower of Behel in the distance, and we move now to that destination. Not because you've arrived, but because another player dwells there. At the center of Behel is a great and ancient tower that stood long before the rest of this city did, and will be standing long after the rest of it is gone. Here, the wizards and merchant lords of Behel govern the city, and pursue profit or enlightenment. Said to be built atop subterranean pools of alchemical substances, a continual stream of purple smoke rises from its top, funneled from the earth by ancient sandstone air ducts. The crumbling outer walls of Behel contain the bustling bazaar that merchants frequently stop at on their way to and from the Thype Empire, far east. The city is quenched by the river Zura and fed by Ruz, also known as finger grain, from the paddy fields and feed terraces north of the city. From an arched window off the Tower of Behel, a figure leans, catching what brief cooling winds come past. I'm watching to the east. Sam, would you like to describe your character?
Yes, Barna-legged Kepatop, or otherwise known as Barney, is quite a small young adolescent dromad, which is like a little camel boy, as I would like to describe it, a humanoid camel. He's got light brown fur with a few tattoos, and he did used to have piercings, but he's removed quite a lot of them, and has a few rings adorned on him, and he wears a white cloth which he's smeared with different colours.
And you perhaps also have a longsword at your side.
I also have a longsword at my side and a satchel.
Yeah. So for about 4 months, you've been in the employ of one Cybis Ilech, prominent wizard of this wise and ancient city. Ilech is a curious man. He's generally regards the world with a certain kind of bemused detachment. And he has a penchant for kind of oddities, such as yourself.
Right.
Appearance-wise, his skin is of a much darker hue than the natives of Alakfazi, and his hair is black and densely curly, and he's had it cut and shaped to form this kind of forward-facing crescent at the front and a similar at the back, divot in between. One of his arms has been robbed of its length by mutation and only extends from the shoulder about half a foot. But the other arm, which is just typical in length, bears 6 fingers, which is considered a sign one is blessed by the gods. His eyes and teeth appear to have been permanently stained blue by some process you don't know. And although being in his service for only 4 months, you haven't seen this for yourself. Those who have known him for much longer insist that he does not age.
Okay.
For the past few minutes, you have been spying a colourful procession that is inching its way towards Behel from the east. Banners of all colours flutter in the breeze, and upon helmets of grey metal, which you, will travel, would know as iron, the 7-feather plume of the Thype Empire sways. Their heralds arrived yesterday, and the tower has been abuzz ever since. While you're standing there, just kind of drinking in the sight, you hear the heavy footfalls of your friend Lox approaching behind you. Lox is an interesting creature, to say the least. Her hulking, burly form stands almost 7 feet tall. And while most of her is roughly humanoid, her head is like that of a lion, including a rather luxurious golden mane that extends over her shoulders and upper chest. Left at a monastery as a babe, she's never known her people, and not you nor anyone else has ever either. Joining Ilek's retinue at a similar time, and kind of comparably isolated from her people, Lox and you have formed something of a bond. So as you hear her approaching behind you, do you do anything, or do you just listen to her come up?
I just listen to her come up. I think I'm
Sure.
very comfortable.
You feel one of her slightly sharp nails poke you in the side and goes, "Ha! Stabbed you. You're dead."
So pure.
This is already 100% my favorite character.
This is beautiful.
Did you do anything?
Yeah. I let you do it.
Of course you did. You see that she has her greatsword, which is this big fucking bar of this black metal, which you don't know, and no one else does. She says she killed someone for it a while back. Is kind of slung in its scabbard over one of her shoulders. She says, "Come, the wizards want everyone cleaned up for the arrival."
Ugh.
You enjoy it, really?
Yeah.
Come on, you haven't had a bath in ages. You head off. You are, over the next few minutes, thoroughly scrubbed and cleaned, and dressed in neat robes of purple. Purple is the color of Behel. And then you gather with other retinue of wizards at the upper rafters of a place called the Quiet Courtyards, this sunwell that has had the stone shaped by the wizards to diminish the ability of sound to travel. And you stand there kind of in a slightly stiff pose, hands behind your back, while Lox tries not to look too bored, as below this Thype dignitary comes before the bowing wizards and merchant lords, and members of the dignitary's retinue place and then open these trunks laden with all kinds of exotic gifts before them. This isn't the first time, I don't think, that you'll have seen a Thipian but they're always a bit of a strange people to behold, with their rather tapir-like appearance. But this one appears to be particularly gaudy. A gold ring on every digit, and a lot of kind of red, multicolour furnishings. Once formalities and words you cannot hear have been exchanged of Behel, and the Thite ambassador retreat to more private chambers, and you're left to your own devices. Are you doing anything with or without locks?
I think I'm just chilling. I'm very much just kind of like wandering about, just pretending to do my job, but also just very much want to sit down.
Sure. Are you with locks, or are you going to have some private time, or?
No, with locks.
Sure. I mean, I think once the kind of formalities end, kind of go into kind of a slouching pose.
Yeah.
This is boring. Like I was sitting down, perhaps sharing a cup of tea, and the break room for you, kind of members of the retinue. Maybe you two are kind of sharing kind of small talk. What do you think they're getting up to?
Why am I so?
You're like, oi.
Oi. If I'm honest, Lux, I haven't got a clue. Okay, I don't have a clue.
Didn't you used to do this stuff, visiting with gifts?
Yes, but I'm tired. I've had a long day, and and you stabbed me earlier, so I'm just
Locks will kind of give a kind of like expression, and then just drink the tea. You sit around and wait for a number of hours, nothing to do.
Wow.
All of the guards of the city of Behel kind of on fairly kind of high alert, or the visiting of a dignitary has put a certain spring in their steps, so there's nothing for really you to do with your the person you're supposed to be protecting kind of locked away safely here.
Yeah.
So you just kind of pass the time, maybe play some bones or dice with the other people here.
Yeah.
You don't get up to anything particular, but eventually, as it's getting towards sunset, the sky's beginning to bronze, you are summoned to Ilek's chambers, and you note that the rest of his retinue, Coppercoin, Astad, Nosek, all of them, along with you and Locks, the whole gang, as plus many others, this colourful group, are summoned to Ilek's chambers. You come in. Ilek keeps rather sparse quarters, particularly for a wizard. Having had a glance in some of the other wizards' places, there is usually a kind of a rather messy assemblage of tomes and scrolls and vials, but Ilek is very conservative, almost kind of monastic in his approach, and he just kind of sits there on a slightly raised platform pillow, while his accountant Nuch stands behind him, just kind of staring as you all file in, and you take up your usual formal kneeling position in front of him. There's 10 of you in total in his retinue, and he goes, good, you're all here. Now I have some rather interesting news. You're all... And there's a certain moment of quiet comes out the room. And he goes,
your mic cut out when I...
My mic cut out?
You're all... And then there was a pause.
I was wondering if
and I thought it was a
was
dramatic pause.
No. Oh, sorry about that. You're all fired.
Oh, God.
There we go.
Johnson was fired by
it. Yes. Nuch here will settle all accounts and so on. But yeah, you're all sacked. There's been a bit of a restructuring. Behel's taking a bit of a different approach. Wasn't my idea. I was actually firmly against it, but what can you do?
We really are going for like topical D&D now, aren't we?
Yeah, aren't we?
A little bit on the
nose.
There's a certain kind of you notice that some of the people here are kind of glancing like, you can't just like, you could have given us some kind of prior warning or something. Tragically, there's no labor laws or anything in this era, so you don't have any legal protection. Anyway, are you doing anything? Locks kind of looks to you with slight like a
lot. Sir?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Barney.
Yeah, I know who you are, buddy.
You can't just fire us all. Why do you fire? Why?
Well, don't worry, because most of you are going to be summarily rehired. There's been a centralizing of the military might of Behel. Unfortunately, I don't have any command of it, so I'm having to relinquish you all now. Yes, and tragically as well, I will note that Lox and Barney is the two people in my employ who haven't been here for half a year or longer. You won't be finding new employment with this new centralized army.
So,
don't worry, you and Lox can stay here, and we'll sort a few things out.
Thank you.
Lox, are you going to say anything? Just kind of no. Well, brilliant. Everyone seems to be in agreement. So why don't we have everyone file out except for Lox and Barney, and we can iron out matters soon. Everything will be squared tomorrow. Don't worry.
Definitely need a spin-off of Lox and Barney.
Yeah, I think you two have to be like the kind of the buddy cop duo of this world.
Yeah.
Wizard cops. Right. So the rest of them kind of rather kind of dejected, but they've been told that they'll find that they're being kind of restructured. At least not structured out like you lot. They leave. Perhaps the few who don't like you may give you slightly snide looks. And you are left with a room only now containing you, Lox, Ilek, and Ilek's accountant, Nook. Now, that was rather fun, wasn't it?
I'm sorry, sir.
Listen, buddy, I'm just having a laugh. Don't be so bloody stiff all the time. Here's the thing. Events are rather going in the direction I'd like them to go, so I'm having to be. You can keep secrets, can't you, Barney?
Oh, I've got so many secrets, sir. They're coming out of my ears.
That doesn't sound like keeping secrets, but you know what? I'm going to trust you anyway.
He's just so damn likable.
Just like lift up one of my ears and just goes, "I got pissed by Sophie in 3rd grade," or something like that.
I'm going to have to get a little bit sneaky, and I'm going to need you to be out of the way, going off with Nook here to sort some matters out east. So you will be employed, at least for the foreseeable future. Of course, once you come back, that's it. Full stop. But but anyway, listen. I know this might be rather dour news that your, supposedly long-term employment that was, rather lucrative. I mean, I think I paid you fairly. Is coming to an end rather summarily. But I've got something really interesting to show you.
So many things I'm feeling at this moment, sir. I'm feeling.
Well, I hope the main one is excitement. Now, anyway, Noisek, could you bring him in? And the door behind you opens. Now, we're going to cut back to a few minutes ago.
Ooh.
Go to another chamber within the tower where we see a number of individuals are slowly unpacking in this slightly Spartan sandstone room. Amongst them is our focus, Harry. Would you like to describe your character?
Yeah, all right. So my character, his name is Zorab. He's tall. He's quite thin. He's got a sort of sallow, gaunt face. He's got greasy, quite unpleasant black hair, badly maintained stubble, large-ish moustache. Around the sort of... Wait, which side? Right-hand side of his face, just sort of all of this is like fish scales, basically. Sort of silvery, unpleasant fish scales. Which means that no hair really grows below this level, but he can sort of pull it over here in a sort of not emo, but not far off way. Other than that, he's wearing like a poncho because he's really, really cool. It's got some sort of crudely embroidered pictograms on it.
So you will have been dressed, I will say, for these circumstances, you will have been, at least for presenting here, you will have been dressed fairly well. A rather nice poncho, if it is a poncho. You can be returned to your normal clothes, but
okay. I've been dressed up nicely in what?
I mean, they will. So the way that Thype kind of approaches aesthetics is not so much to bring everyone into a uniform style, but is to enhance the gaudiness of what you were already wearing. So if poncho is your thing, they will have given you a rather florid poncho.
Sexy.
They're kind of big on aesthetic individualism. Like,
all right, that sounds awesome. Yeah, so I'm wearing just an amazing fucking poncho with like sort of stripes, lots of 70s colour. My hair's been washed and maybe sort of back combed a little bit now. Yeah, I'm looking incredible. Also, thanks for following us, someone who is making that horrible noise go in my ear.
You're welcome.
Oh, and he's also got an extra eye. He's got 2 eyes and then another eye here, which is sort of more round and quite fishy to sort of go with the fish scales.
Toy.
I don't think he's got any other visible mutations or any other sort of grim things. Oh, he is a human, so, boring.
Does that mean he has emotional mutations?
No,
Maybe.
visible, not physical.
Oh, yeah.
So,
you said he has no other visible mutations, which would imply...
no, because you could have a mutation under a shirt, couldn't you?
He's sad inside.
You could have
That's
a tail.
the other mutation.
Not everything that you can't see is an emotion, Shannon. Anyway, sorry, let's go back.
Sure.
So, Liam.
Hi.
Is there a rule about when we're allowed to go to the bathroom?
Oh, go. It's fine. Sorry. No, yes, you just
Goodbye, everyone.
If you're in the scene, say, oh, I need to duck out. Okay, she's already gone.
Oh God, what's happened?
Oh no, is it butchered the stream? Oh God.
What just happened?
It's,
no. I mean, it still looks
Amelia
fine.
I heal
It
Ailey
still
with
looks
all of my
fine.
spells.
It's just
I give Ailey all my money.
it's just swapped everyone. So Liam, you're now me. You are now Sam.
Yeah, just swapped everyone for me.
I am now Amelia.
Okay. Well,
No, you're the DM.
Should we keep
Go.
going with this, or who's the DM now? Sorry.
It's me.
It's
Sam, take it away.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Elec rehires
Meanwhile-
me, and
hello, it's me, Liam, and welcome back to another great stream of Dice Capital. I'm Liam, and Harry, have you finished talking about your character?
I'm not Harry anymore. Liam's me.
Oh,
Yeah,
Liam.
oh yeah, I'm you. Okay. Hi, I'm Harry. I don't have anything
No,
to
I
vape
want
with.
to see who I am.
Anything else you'd like to say about your character? Did you just vape?
I vaped with a pen. Yeah.
Excellent.
Right. Okay.
What
to
on
say
earth
about
am I
my
going to do
character?
about this? Presumably,
I'm,
when she comes back, it will get better.
I hope so. This is very annoying.
Wow, that's a lot worse.
What's happened?
Oh no!
Surely I can reorder these streams.
Yeah, but
Oh,
when she
God.
comes back, what happens?
Everything's going wrong.
I feel so much power.
When she comes
Should we
back,
should
it's all gonna
we
go-
keep on and back and be wrong a little bit?
I'm gonna fix it all. Don't
Harry.
worry, everyone. Just
Well,
keep,
Harry,
just
should we-
keep going, and I will fix.
Well, you're in the scene, Harry, so it's kind of dependent on you.
Oh bollocks! Yeah, that's annoying, isn't it? All right, let's just keep going then.
Let's go. Hopefully, when Amelia gets back, it'll sort itself out. Anyway, so as you're unpacking with other members of the retinue here, Mosaic, the steward for Moda, comes in. Zorab, could you come with me, please?
Sorry, just give me 10 seconds, and I'll.
Right. Okay. Got too into it there.
I like the accent though.
I'm just.
Tell me when you're good to go, Harry. Don't worry about it.
I'm good to go. I'm good to go.
Okay, so as I say, Mosaic.
Give me my cue.
steward-
Give me my cue.
there we
Oh,
go.
and
So-
we're back. We are
Is it
back.
sorted it all out now?
Okay, so in future, just if you need to leave the stream,
Don't do what I did.
don't do what you did because
Okay.
it swapped all of our identities.
Great.
It's not fun.
Cool. I won't do that anymore. Sorry, everyone.
Well, right.
Cool.
Anyway, as I say, you're unpacking. Mosaic, who's the steward to Moda, comes in. Zoab, could you come with me, please?
I've forgotten what accent I was doing.
I don't know you were doing an accent.
You're doing like Zizek.
I was doing
Oh,
Zizek.
yeah,
I'm not sure I can do Zizek tonight.
Way too hard.
Yes, precisely. Where are we going?
You will know when you arrive, of course. It's not far. Do you follow?
Have they told me about this yet?
Have they told you what?
What's going on? Do I have any idea
No,
what's happening?
You have come here with Moda Rayfort. You know that they're coming here for some amount of political brokering, but you are kept largely out of the loop. You are more or less ported around as an oddity.
I find this carting around of me like a human cow preposterous. But I have no other, and we've gone French. Really no other choice, so I will come in with you.
We have heard your socialist ranting before. Zoab, if you could keep it to yourself, por favor. You are taken to a considerably larger and more ornate room within the tower. The best chambers here, you might suspect, where you see Moda kneeling and delicately, precisely, she practices calligraphy in a tray containing sand. And as you enter, she looks at you and neatly places the brush beside the tray and indicates for you to sit on a blanket laid across the other side. Now, to describe Moda, this is Moda Rayfort. She is noble who rules over a western region of the Thype Empire. She is a Thippian herself, who are slightly elephantine people. Their face is largely dominated by a kind of... oh, we just swapped all again, because Amelia did the same thing. Oh, no,
Shit.
she's back.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Are we not allowed?
Stop.
Fuck, sorry.
Stop doing that, Amelia, please. Sorry.
What are you doing? Are you disconnected?
I just accidentally very lightly hit the clicky thing, which was still on the camera turn off thing, and I'm really sorry. I
Oh, don't worry,
promise
that's
I didn't
fine.
mean to do that.
If you need privacy, just have a, I don't know, like
I'll just
I
put
do,
my-
just a thing that goes across.
Yeah, I'll put my hand over it while I...
Don't worry about it, though. I mean, this is already fairly ramshackle. Anyway, to describe a person, a Thippian, as I say, their face is dominated by this very kind of short, almost tapir-like trunk. It does have a certain amount of flexibility. Some of them have small tusks on their lower jaw that come out, and they all have a very heavy brow, and they're quite furry. They have this fairly sparse but thick, bristly fur to them. Of course, there's many Thippians within Thype itself, but generally traveling aboard, it's just the nobles who come, the kind of oddities who tend to be non-Thippian people, the ones who come with them, such as yourself. Anyway, Moda indicates for you to sit, assumingly you do, and she kind of just mulls the situation for a moment and then eventually speaks. Zoab, you've been in my care for, I think it is 5 years now. It's with great sadness that I say that comes to an end today. Does Zoab have any particular response to this?
I'm not sure why nobody told me.
Events are moving beyond your understanding or control, and it is no longer necessary for you to be around. But I believe you can flourish in your new circumstances. I have made arrangements for you so that you may pursue your interests, shall we say.
We're abandoning this accent right now.
Oh, that's so fun! Amazing.
Oh, come on, Harry.
I'm finding it really hard to stay
Cowboy
even
accent.
remotely on track.
Plow through
I
it.
love it.
It's not like I'm particularly good at doing a French accent.
You're a lot better than I am doing a Zizek accent.
Just push on with it, Harry. Come on.
Where did we get to? Sorry.
Sorry, she's saying it's no longer necessary to have you around. She believes that you can flourish in your new circumstances. Well, has not defined what they are.
Well, it would have been nice to know, this was happening at some point before now.
Of course, but you're not privy to all of my conversations, of course. You understand.
Well, I would like to be privy to the ones which are about me. Do you not think I have some sort of a right to know this?
I'll be honest, I will not miss these moods of yours. I quickly grow weary of this conversation. I think you shall move on now. But I have a small gift for you as a parting gesture. And she kind of rather languidly waves a hand. A servant comes up and presents before you a rather detailed wooden box, fairly small. You may open it if you wish.
I open it.
Do you? It contains Turkish delight.
Ooh.
How many pieces?
And
Probably enough for kind of a group of maybe 5 or 6 people to have in one sitting. Not much.
Is it enough to betray your brothers and sisters?
Depends on the value of Turkish delight to you.
Oh, solid ref. Sorry, it took me a moment. Yeah. Good. I like it.
No, yeah. Oh, I just got it. Okay.
The best fantasy story of all time.
Anyway, you have handed a wooden box of Turkish delight. I mean,
Bold statement, Harry.
Rose water.
Is it rare? Turkish delight. Is it like?
No, not particularly. I mean, they serve this stuff. It's a fairly common sweet in Thype. And you.
So it's like he's been given a box of like roses or something, or like celebrations.
Yeah. This is perhaps the box of celebrations equivalent. And it's up to you whether you hate Turkish delight or if you've kind of just grown indifferent to it, having it been the only kind of sweet thing to eat for 5 years.
Charming, or like so small as to be sort of disrespectful?
I think that would require an insight check to know if it's what the underlying intentions of this are.
Are we doing it?
Well, Harry has to choose.
Wait, choose what? I didn't hear the first half of that sentence.
Do you want to make an insight check to gauge whether this?
Yeah,
what
100%. Give me an insight
meaning?
check.
Okay,
give me
an insight check then.
I need to find the win. I have
Do you want
quite
to
a lot
roll
of
for you?
windows open. Can you just roll for me?
I'll roll for
Sorry.
you. Oh, my mouse is just falling asleep.
My insight's +2.
All right, +2. Then you got a 17, so 19 in total. You think this is largely just like Moda honestly does not care enough about you to really like you. She probably just brought this and was like, "Oh, we'll just give that to it." Moda largely regards you as kind of the way you would like a pet you never really wanted in the first place.
Well, I am absolutely, honored by this delicious gift, and it's curious to me as to whether it was more difficult for you to give this away or my slavery. So we'll see that in future.
It should be made clear that the I was Russian there. It should be clear that the circumstances under which I have traded you do not, in a legal capacity, it is not necessarily slavery.
I'm aware that I don't have the intelligence to hold a debate on slavery, but I really feel like you're baiting it out, given that I'm doing a sort of half-hearted Zizek attempt.
I'm just doing a really horrible character. Anyway, I got tired of this conversation, and I have calligraphy practice to do. So this is the parting of our ways. Unless you have any, if you have a poem or something you wish to offer, that would be appreciated.
I can't improvise a poem this quickly, but I wish I could.
That's fine. You know that the people of Thype are very keen on poetry.
What's her name?
It's Moda Rayfort.
Rayfort. What rhymes with Rayfort?
I imagine Durab is saying this all out loud.
What rhymes with Rayfort?
I think as Zurab hesitates to think of a poem, someone you don't recognize comes to take you out of the room, and you are led through a few halls, and then are asked to wait with this servant outside of a chamber until you hear a voice from within call, and the door opens, and you come into a room to see this rather odd-looking wizardly character. Their accountant behind them, a dromad, and some strange lion person, the kind of which you never encountered before. So you walk into this room.
When you say never encountered before, like literally never seen before.
You've never seen a lion person before. No one here has ever seen a lion person before.
I've seen a lion person.
Well, you've never seen anyone aside from Locke.
Yeah.
You come into this room, the door closes behind you, and everyone kind of stands there looking at you a bit expectantly.
Is that man holding Turkish Delight?
No.
I see you come with a gift. That's very appreciated.
No, I clap the Turkish Delight shut and I hide it. Just like sweep it into a back pocket.
Anyway, Zulab, isn't it Zulab?
Jorab.
Jurab. Brilliant. Come over here. I've heard the most curious things about you, and I really, you have to forgive me. I'm very curious. And I really wanted to. No, come here.
Who are you?
Oh, I'm Ilek. One of the wizards here. No, you. So I'd have assumed you'd have been talked through all of this at this point.
Right. So I was first told about this about 20 to 30 seconds ago. So, no, little in the dark.
I see. Well, I mean, I will be honest, that might be slightly my fault, because I did kind of negotiate getting you along with something else that was gifted to me. You weren't exactly within what was being gifted in the first place, but you're in my charge now.
Whilst
so
this is
so going back there,
I just look at Locke like, what is going on?
Anyway, I really wish you would come over here, Jura.
I don't presumably have any weapons on me or anything.
Currently, no.
I'm going to walk over there.
Brilliant. Now, and you see that Ilek takes a rather neat wooden box beside him and places it and opens it up in front of you.
Turkish
And you
Delight.
see more Turkish Delight. No, you see your guns.
Oh.
Well tended, well kept over the years. There's longsword and dagger and 24 bullets neatly lined up, held within red velvet. I was rather hoping you'd shoot me.
Excuse me?
Are you hard of hearing?
Perhaps yes. I thought you just told me to shoot you.
Yes. Now, you may note, look over here, Barney, Locks, this is going to be very interesting. You may note that the Zurab here does not have a bow and arrow, and yet I asked him to shoot me. Why do we think that is?
Shoot you a passing look?
I like the creativity of the guess, but completely wrong, Barney, to be honest. Think of it this way. I'm a wizard, so magic might be involved.
Shoot him with lightning?
Possibly. I'm not sure.
I take the gun and I
really
shoot him.
Okay, you take it, you just quickly grab a bullet, load it in.
I grab the Derringer because it's the fastest to load and I just shoot him.
Okay, sure. So none of the guns are loaded. So you pick it up, click, and then you can grab 2 bullets and put them in and fire them if you wish.
One. It's just one. I only need one.
Sure.
He's in front of
Wow.
It is like riding a bike, picking these things up. It may have been 5 years, but the second your hand feels that grip, they flow with you as if they're an extension of yourself, and you slip the bullet in one neat gesture, point and shoot. Barney and Locks both jump from their kneeling position as a thunderous bang echoes through the room, and the accountant Nuch just kind of collapses back in shock. as smoke and fire erupts from this small metallic device held in Zurab's hands. And Ilek sits there, motionless, and kind of looks around side to side. Now that is very interesting. I like this quite a lot. You're pretty sure you had him dead on to hit him right in the heart, and I mean you can't see the patch of the bullet, but it seems to have just passed right through him. You perhaps see a few shattered wooden boards behind Ilek.
That's very strange. It seems to have malfunctioned somehow. Let me give it one more go, and I go for another bullet.
Are you grabbing longsword or using the derringer again?
I'm gonna use the derringer. No, I'll grab the big one.
Okay, he pulls out a longer object, the same metal, but this one appears to have a certain revolving chamber to it and a very long, thin metallic tube at the front, which again you pick up and just as smooth as water, you load a bullet into, point and fire. But this time, trigger does not move. Ooh. You are pushing and squeezing it, but it does not seem to budge. Brilliant. I was really rather hoping this would work out, and it has fantastically. Harry, you're right.
I'm still pulling the trigger.
Yeah, you're trying to pull it. Barney, you've got a question.
Yeah, I just like to know what's going on.
See, Barney, this is what they call a gun. A rather interesting device. Invented in lands far from here, but...
No, I think I'm familiar with a gun.
You probably have heard of guns maybe as kind of a legend, strange heretical magical device.
I'm more curious as to why this voice. I'm more curious as to why you're getting him to shoot you and it's not working.
Well, see, I've never seen a gun fired before, so I thought the best way to approach it might be to have it shoot. And I've also, Zurab, I hope you don't mind, I've also placed a certain amount of enchantment upon your arms so that if I don't want to, you can't use them against me. I hope you don't mind with me interfering with your things in this way.
My arms?
Your armaments. Your guns. Just, I want to be 100% clear.
Disgusting. What have you done to them?
Well, I mean, it's a rather complex process. I won't walk you through it. You strike me as more of a man of action thought. Listen, I want to ask you a rather odd personal question, but what is it your heart desires? And we're going to cut there as we go back.
Scene change. God, I wish we had a scene change.
Yeah, well, we don't. We can get a really cheesy swipe, like a wipe from
like the Batman,
the Star Wars prequel.
Star Wars wipe.
My mic was muted for the last bit. For anyone watching, I just what did I say? I can't remember. Nothing of particular value. Don't worry.
Anyway, we are back on the road to Behel. You've left Behel with Lapur perhaps a few hours ago. It's not that far, and given that you're on a downward path, despite Lapur's slowness, you are making some way there, and you think you could be at Behel by perhaps even the evening of today. You're making your way until you begin to see, not too far ahead of you, a scuffle emerge. Someone, you notice, kind of jumps from a bush and begins running, and then suddenly from around a bend, two fairly well-armed people borne on the backs of large reptiles are in pursuit. Upon their heads are conical bronze helms with leather that masks the side of the face, and they have bronze breastplates upon them, and similarly have bronze spears held at their side. And these large, kind of rather sunken green lizards skitter across the landscape, kind of navigating the ups and downs of it rather well as they pursue this running individual until eventually one lizard skids around, stones scattering down the side banks to the Zura River, and the other one manages to run and tackle and grab this person to the ground. you do see a few other lizard-mounted people kind of emerging across a hillock and coming towards them as these faint cries of struggle are ringing out on the riverbank. What are you all doing?
I think I turn to Ailey and I say, you should run ahead and see what's happening. I'll follow behind with the old lady whose name I remember.
Lepore.
Yeah.
Ailey is interested, but doesn't particularly want to get involved in confronting. How many was it? Half a dozen.
Currently, you can see 4 people, but you may notice as you're having this discussion, one of them has produced a horn that is kind of reverberated out. You hear it rather cleanly, so there may be other people coming. They don't appear to. Perhaps they may have not noticed you yet. So you're kind of slightly a ways away.
I examine them from a distance.
Sure. You can give
My
me a
character
perception
sheet says I have particularly good eyesight.
Oh, yeah, you do. I will say you can just see them then. Okay, so the guards, aside from, you can kind of perhaps notice the glint of bronze in the sun. They also have purple robes to them. And I'll say you'll maybe just, you can tell there's a symbology on the, there's a symbol on the breastplate, but maybe you're too far away to make out exactly what it is. The person they've tackled, however, Amelia, would you like to describe your character?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I would. So, Lola is a witch. She's kind of middle-aged, I guess, in the context of the world. She's about 20. And she wears very simple robes that are a greenish, grayish, brownish color. She has one very long braid that runs all the way down her back. She has silvery gray hair. And she's rather plain looking, but she has the temperance of an ancient turtle. And
While being tackled.
While being tackled. Not particularly while being tackled per se, but I suppose in her life when she's not being tackled. When she is being tackled, she's rather displeased. She has with her several pockets attached to her robe and a bag filled with her herbs and things that she uses, and she also has a trestle with her. Yeah.
Sorry, filled with her what?
Her herbs.
Her what?
Yeah, her fucking herbs, man.
Yeah, okay, right. We're doing American pronunciation of this, are we?
Her herbs.
Thank you very much.
Does that make you feel
This is
better?
an English live stream. We don't want any
All
Americans
right.
in it. Americanisms,
Anyway.
rather.
So rude.
Can we IP
so
block
rude.
Americans
mistreatment.
from the...
We can certainly
I
try.
don't think you can IP
Discrimination.
block a whole country from your Twitch channel, can you? But we would if we could.
You can sure try.
All right. This is enough anti-American.
Yeah, you guys.
We're wrong.
Okay. I've completely forgotten the voice I did for Lepore. So
Is that the old lady?
Yeah, it was just an old lady voice, Liam.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Yeah.
My throat is way too sore for that. But she will kind of look to you, Corellia, kind of uncertain to what to do. Her eyes are asking, like, what am I supposed to do? There's a certain fear to her here.
I want to take her by the shoulders and say, no harm will come to you. Ailey will look after you. And then I scamper on over to see what's going on. Because I see an old lady in trouble. I see grey hair and I think you're an old lady.
Fair enough.
Wow.
Okay, sure. You run over to. So, how is Lola reacting to being tackled? You suspect these are people who work for Zeta.
Yeah, she's panicking. I wouldn't say she's trying to fight back in a way that would make her get killed on sight. I think she's struggling. She's trying to remain level-headed though. She's trying to remain calm because she knows that panic only fogs the mind.
Sure. Okay. Okay, so you're seeing this person who is has a certain amount of coolness to her, Shannon, as she is tackled by these two people who do. You see one of them begins to try to produce manacles to try to bind her hands behind her back. You perhaps come to the edge of the road. Sorry?
Was she tackled by the people or by the lizards?
By a person. So a kind of a lizard skidded in front. She held up. A person kind of dived off their lizard and tackled her to the ground. The lizards are kind of slowly kind of hanging around the sides, ready to kind of jump. Two more of these lizards have come. You see that one of them has noticed your group, particularly the approaching Carillia, and will swing their spear across to you. Who are you? Are you with this person?
We're just travelers.
You have an Oseth with you. And they say it with a certain amount of suspicion.
Yeah, we're just escorting her to the place that we're going.
Behel.
Yep.
Okay,
Cradles
I'm
her
going to make
staff
insight
and
check.
points it.
Oh, are you going to do something, or are you just gearing
No,
up?
no. She's just innocently handling her sacred object.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. The guard kind of appreciates you warily. Where have you come from?
Osiris.
Osiro. How long have you been in Osiro?
A couple days. That one just a night.
Just a night. He gets off of his lizard and kind of holds this spear. You don't think he's kind of gearing up to attack or anything, but there's definitely a nervousness here. And you can see perhaps a few more of these lizard-mounted guards are approaching from the north. And you do see that drawn by two of these lizards is a rather low-down, caged cart.
We're actually on our way because there's a pretty nasty plague back there, and we think the old lady has it.
The Oseth are banned from the city of Beth as bearers of the plague. Are you aware of this?
Yeah, we knew. We were just scouting around to see other people that may have the plague to bring them back to Osiri, and we think your woman up there showing pretty heavy symptoms.
And you wanted to bring her
We
to
would
Beth?
be pleased to free you of the duty of handling such a troublesome person and
It's a very
risking the
infectious plague.
Right, so are you attempting to convince them that the person they've just tackled has the plague?
Yes.
Because in which case you need to give me a deception check.
Okay.
Your advantage as Ailey's helping you.
Thank you. I may need you to do that because I don't know how well, but I'll give it a go.
That's right, I'll roll for you.
Boop, boop. Wait, I just threw it.
Liam, while this is happening, am I tackled to the ground with my hands bound?
I mean, yeah, you can try to resist or something.
I got an 18.
18. Okay. Sure. Sorry. What is it, Amelia, you want to be doing, if anything, or are you just kind of?
I would, if possible, I would like to very sneakily reach into my bag and pull out some mind scatter petals.
Okay, so they are trying to grab your hands and manacle together. I will need you to let's say, if you're trying to do it sneakily as well, are you trying to grab mind scatter petals with the manacle, or?
Sorry, you cut out for a second.
Are you trying to grab the mind scatter petals and then just accept being manacled, or are you trying to do it and avoid being manacled?
I'll accept being manacled.
Okay, can you give me a sleight of hand check then? Should I roll for you?
Yes, again.
Yo.
Oh. You got a 3.
Oh, great.
Plus
Awesome.
whatever your sleight of hand is, which might be good.
The glass will stop.
5.
5. So you only got an 8. So I would say you try to in, and then grab as they kind of push it down. Your palm opens and scatters these petals across the side.
I want to
This is
shout
doing
out, careful of her
difficult.
hands. That's the most infectious part.
Most infectious. They kind of look around nervously.
I start coughing.
So one of the person with the spear pointing towards Corellia will bark out, "Did you hear that? Infectious." And the one manacling Lola will say, "Why do you think I'm doing this?" As he assumedly completes manacling your hands, and then will pretty much immediately, as soon as it's done, kind of leap back and kind of toss the leather gloves that he is holding to the side, before getting his spear from the lizard and pointing it to you. So you're currently lying down on your belly with your hands manacled behind your back.
Classic.
The one who's been talking to you, Corellia, will say, "We can handle this. You say you've been in a Syro for 2 days.
About that, yeah.
Show me your joints, your neck, and your elbows."
Okay, I would like to say they're scaly all the time, but have a look.
He will kind of slightly inch up to regard. Right. He seems fairly nervous. This is perhaps a bit above his pay grade, but there is right behind him someone who has a certain amount of kind of visual markers to them that may denote a slightly higher rank. This person has more embellishment to their bronze chestplate. And actually, we'll say, Grace, now that you're closer, you can see that the symbol painted onto these bronze chest plates is a bird perched upon a purple spiral.
Let's see.
This more embellished person will come behind. "What's going on here? That is an Oseth. You know they're not permitted in the city. Who are you people?"
I'm a holy woman. My companion is a healer. We travel with this, as you say, plague bearer lady. We would be pleased to take this troublesome and likely infectious person from your company before you are, well, before it's too late for you.
We have matters in place to deal with these things. What is your purpose visiting Behel? Was it Oseth there? What is your purpose visiting Behel?
I must speak with the wizards.
And you're a holy person, you say?
Indeed,
where?
I have travelled far. Have you heard of Dwerinish? I've travelled across the Silent Steppe.
There is definitely a mark of recognition on his face, as you say, Dwerinish. That is interesting.
While this
For 10 years, I have learned the
happening-
chants in Dwerinish.
Sorry, Amelia.
While this conversation is happening, can I try to get out of the house and get my
Sure.
petals?
Do you have anything that you could try to undo the manacles with?
I have.
I will say these two guards are, sorry, just to be clear, they are back with their spears up and they are beginning to say, "Right, stand up."
Oh, great. To me.
Yep, to you.
Oh, okay. I stand up.
Keeping very much their distance, but
I stand up and I mouth to. Are they looking at me? They probably are.
Yeah,
Never mind.
yeah, they are both looking right at you, spears out. They're trying to keep as much distance as so control how you're moving.
Okay, so they're not on me. They're not touching me.
No. They are using their
Okay.
spears to keep a firm distance from you, but you've got.
I'm not totally sure what would help with manacles, mostly because I don't know what manacles are. I assume they're
Handcuffs.
fantasy handcuffs.
Regular handcuffs, but yeah.
Great.
Feet behind.
I have an oil, so maybe I could slip out of them.
You can certainly try to douse your hands in oil to try to slip if you want. It might be fairly difficult when your hands are behind your back to get to wherever you keep
Yeah.
your oil.
Could I just try and fiddle with them?
Sure.
Okay.
I will say that's a sleight of hand, and I'll roll
Yes.
it for you.
There you go.
Okay.
No, you are struggling with these things, but you're not quite sure of their design, and there's a certain amount of they're a bit too complex. You don't really know what these are. You've not encountered manacles before. You just know they're binding your hands, and you do have two people with weapons pointed at you. Are you
Yeah,
gonna
so it's
comply with what they're
difficult.
saying or anything?
Am I what?
Are you going to comply with what they're saying? They're telling you to move, and you can see this cart coming up that is parked up on the road.
What will be the fate of the lady?
He looks back. Well, we're not. There's a few suspicions. We'll clarify those, and then she'll be held in quarantine for a while, and then we'll see.
He's accused of crimes?
These are not matters of your concern. Although,
Can we take a
while
shot every time you do a Corona reference?
it's a disease.
Quarantine.
The good of the people is my concern. I'm sure
As a
you have more
person-
important business. As a humble monk, I care for the people, and if I can take them from taking up your important time, I would be pleased. If she is sick, she needs care.
If you come from Dwer Inish, I can give you passage into the city. You will need to be in the cart with the potentially sick, and that Oseth, and points beyond to Lapor behind both Heilung and Karelia, should turn back, and says it loud enough to make sure Lapor hears.
I'll speak with the Oseth and see if I can persuade her of the correct path. And I turn my back on him.
Sure. He looks to you, Karelia. Actually, sorry, we're just going to go. Amelia, are you moving? A few more guards are now kind of assembling around you with their spears out.
I would
There's
kind
8
of
them here
like
currently.
to enter a very violent coughing fit. Like, so violent that it brings me to the ground, and
Okay.
it looks like I cannot control my body.
Can you give me a deception or performance, whichever's higher? And you rolled a 8, so whatever your deception or performance is.
My what?
Deception or performance, whichever's higher.
My deception is +4.
+4. Okay, so you got a 12.
Come on. Fuck's sake.
Okay, so one of them will say, look, I'm going to be completely blunt. If you're going to keep coughing so that you're really sick, we may as well just kill you here.
Let me examine her.
So speaking to the captain of the guard here, no. There's certain matters here that are beyond your understanding.
I say, you can't kill me. There is something that you need from me. And you know this to be true.
Captain of the guard looks back to his nervous men, pointing spears at this person, and to you, and he goes, right, you, pointing to Karelia, stay here. And begins to head down to the slope.
Can I make some sort of insight or perception check to divine what it is that is beyond their understanding? Supposed to be beyond their understanding.
Yeah, give me an insight check.
So
Harry,
let's have a look for a D20, and what is my stat? Oh, I've got a great insight number. Let's see if I can roll above a 10 this time.
Nice. Harry, can you
This is
the
19.
keyboard? Come on. 19. So you're trying to insight what's going on here. You think that this. So what you can pick up from the captain of the guard, they suspect this person they've caught may be someone of significance. of some kind. I don't think on a 19. I mean, it doesn't make you psychic, so you can't tell more than that. But yeah, you get the sense that this is someone they want to capture.
Do I get the sense that the quarantine is a pretext, not a genuine concern?
That is real. You suspect that is real. They have brought a cart here,
Sure.
which is cloth at the sides and a cage within. So you suspect this is specifically to keep people inside and separate from those on the outside.
Appear to have overall malicious or harmful intentions towards their prisoner, or do they seem to ultimately have benevolent intentions?
Neither. I mean, they're not. I don't. You don't think they're. They're not here to particularly do any favors for this person, but they're not out to kill them. You don't think?
Okay, sure.
The guard comes down.
Telekinetic message and send a little message to Ailey.
Okay, well, a lot of things are happening right here. I think the captain of the guard has descended the slope and says to you, trying to do your coughing fit, Amelia. Listen, there's two things that can happen here. We can kill you as an obvious plague bearer, and I get chastised, but that's the end of it. Or you can come with me. Listen, let me put it this way. We don't work for Zeta.
Then who the fuck do you work for?
Someone a bit more important than Zeta.
Sistasi.
I don't know who that is.
Okay, thank God.
I will note that the armor, the apparel on these people is similar to the guards of Zeta, but perhaps now you've gotten close, you know there are some decorative markers that are distinct. Certain embellishments are different.
What do you want from me?
Well, at that much, I really, looking back to the rest of the group, Carillia and Ailey, really think it's best discussed with who I work for.
Well, I suppose it would be nice to not be killed.
Yes, I think we would all find that very agreeable.
All right. I will go with you.
Capital. Right. He heads back up the slope as you, assumedly, slowly kind of walk towards. You're kind of guided by this ring of spear tips around you towards this kind of prison cart up on the road. One of the guards will grab your trestle that maybe fell off or something. As you
No. My plants.
Right. Now that's dealt with. I can offer protection to someone of Dwyer Inish. You'll have to travel in the carts, but I don't think this person is sick. Looking back to Lola.
I just look at him and I give him one more.
Pretty sure she's not sick. Oh, Grace, you're muted.
I have heard no symptoms that involve coughing.
Yeah, no, I know.
A persistent cough and a fever.
See, it's not just COVID-19.
I'm sure this will be incredibly relatable in 3 years when people are watching on YouTube.
Well, listen, I know that you, and he points to Carillia, are not sick. 2 days in that place, you'd be gone by now.
I know I'm not sick.
Please.
Oh, thanks.
The Oseth will have to turn around, talk with her if you want, but she will have to head back on her way. And you, point to Ailey, will need to travel in the cart if you want to come to Behel. Otherwise, I'm going to have to bar you entry.
While he was talking to Amelia, what's your character called? Lola. While he was talking to Lola, can I have sent a telekinetic message to Ailey?
Sure.
I wanted to ask, how do you think these guys feel about espers?
Okay, so you hear, you kind of reach your mind out and feel the shape of Ailey's mind and snag into it. And Ailey, you hear kind of whispering that coalesces as the voice of Carillia within your head.
Another voice. And you ask me what I think they think of espers.
Mm-hmm.
Can I reply with this?
Out loud, but not. Just say yes or no. They won't know what's going on.
Ailey doesn't say anything, but she shrugs.
Oh, okay.
You're shrugging. Are you coming with me or not?
Ailey says, I will speak to the Oseth. I will determine my responsibilities, and then perhaps I will accompany you. If I do, the cart will be acceptable.
Very well.
And then she bows slightly, and she turns and she goes to the Oseth.
He returns the bow. He returns to his lizard, and you see he goes over and is kind of mustering his men. Amelia, Lola, assumedly comes into this cart with these bars made of bronze and a cloth sheet over it. It's rather claustrophobic and quite hot inside. Do you do anything?
Can I look around to see possible escapes other than the door?
Sure.
Or anything about the cart generally?
Yeah, so it's a bronze cage covered in a tarp. And you think it's built rather to kind of like to contain and kind of put up a certain amount of barrier between the person on the inside and the outside. Although, of course, you know, the craftsmanship here is not amazing. I'll roll a perception check for you. What's your perception modifier? This thing is not rolling well for you, Amelia, because you got a 2.
Yeah, I don't think that
Plus
modifier is
3.
gonna matter.
Fuck's sake.
Looking around,
The
in dark,
internet dice hate me so much.
slightly disorientated. You're not. You can't really see a way out of here except for the door that heavily closes behind you. The rest of you see that these guards kind of assemble, and 4 of them, of the group of 8 on their lizards, will skitter off into the surrounding hills. Well, 4 of
You
them
can have to
wait
give me
with the
30
cart.
seconds. I'll be back.
What's going on? Oh yeah, duck out. It's fine. Anyway.
Don't turn your camera on. You didn't hear me.
No, you just covered it. Anyway.
What a smart human man.
Smart human man. So you go back to talk to Lepore. What is it you say?
It says, the soldiers, they will not take your kind. I'm sorry.
I suspected as such. I think that was that her voice? I can't remember. She has
What
a
will you
sadness
do?
to her. I
What do you need?
must return. I don't know. The shale plague is a curse levied upon my people, and I have no knowledge of how to lift curses. That is why I saw
Speak to the wizards. I will speak to them. Yes. My own goals require that I must gain their trust and their favor. And if I can, I will send some aid with what favor I can gain with them. Go now. You have accomplished your goal.
She looks at both of you, says, there's a certain quiet anger to her, but she says, thank you for what it's worth. She kind of seals her lips and begins to slowly make her way back up.
Can I grasp both of her hands?
Sure. She turns to go. You come forward and grab both of her hands.
Yeah, just like hold them to my little heart.
You are a kind child. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I was just pausing for Harry's.
Oh right, no.
I want to say, we'll do everything we can for your people, but if there's anything in particular you need us to do, please tell us now.
As I say, I do not know. Sorry, I can't do the voice before my throat is too sore.
What up with that?
All right.
Hey.
I do not know what.
We did not hear you vaping, just so you know.
I wasn't vaping. I just walked back in.
I know, we didn't hear you vape.
Anyway, come on.
Let's get a tasty drink of Coke Zero. Dice Capital is
Don't.
not sponsored.
Awful.
Okay.
Awful. Anyway, yeah, she says you're a
Refreshing.
kind
Can
child.
you believe it's 0 calories? Okay, I'm sorry, I'm done.
Do you let go of her hands, or
Do you need me to escort you back?
no? I can make my way. I can make my way.
Do I believe her?
Give me an insight check.
Okie dokie.
There you go.
Should I roll for you?
Okay.
Or
I'll.
you roll a 6.
Ooh, I could have rolled.
Oh, sorry.
It's 4. No, sorry. Plus 4.
So 10. You're not sure.
I also make a roll on this.
Sure. Should I roll for you?
I'm quite happy to roll myself.
Well, I just rolled you a 19, so.
Oh well, I'll take a 19. 19's very satisfactory.
What is it you're rolling? Insight or?
Oh, is it a 19 plus my bonus?
Yeah.
That's a 26.
26.
So I look into her soul.
Whoa.
Yeah, you have more telepathy than the telepath. You think this person knows they haven't got long for this world, and there's a certain amount of kind of frustration and anger and sadness that comes with falling at the last hurdle.
We'll say we will say you cannot continue, but I can carry your goal forward. Tell me what you would say to the wizards, and I will take that message to them.
Ooh.
I would ask that you bring them to our people in Osiro. They are great sages. They must have knowledge of prevention of curses. They would not be susceptible to the disease if this is true, and they can gain the trust of a once noble people.
Indeed. I shall tell them this. You have not failed. Your goal, inasmuch as you sought it, will be accomplished. The message will be heard, and if I can, I will send aid to your people.
You have my thanks.
Could I maybe use healing cure wounds? Not to cure wounds, but to kind of like maybe like her knees and her ankles, maybe like lessen any pain she feels on the journey home.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. As you're holding her hands, you draw up something and flow it through you, and it invigorates. It draws some kind of her well, and strengthens her a bit. And she says, "That has lifted a weight from my shoulders. Thank you."
And your knees.
And she kind of quickly turns her face away and begins to make her way up the slope.
Second romantic interest of the game.
Second
Number 2.
There we go.
A jumping in the cup.
Well, you don't have to. Corellia, he said he's you have not caught the sickness. It's Ailey who is the one who they don't know.
Oh.
Can I try and persuade them? Can I tell them that I spent time in the town? How long was I there?
You were only there for like 4 hours, maybe. You can give me a persuasion if you want.
No, so I think I will tell them what is not strictly an untruth. I will say that I was in the town. Well, I was unwell while I was in the town. I was treated by this healer, but I have recovered, and my sickness was not the plague.
Sounds like a persuasion check. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
I am rolling at a big +0.
Nice.
What is?
You right, Sam?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no. When you said +0, I thought you meant that you got a nat 1. I was like, why is life?
No, I have no bonus, but I rolled a 15.
Oh.
Okay. You explain these circumstances to the captain of the guard, who is clearly keeping a distance from you. Regardless.
I'd like to present it as not how long I spent there, but that I was I was ill and have recovered. I'm not saying how long I was there, if you see what I mean.
Sure. I think it's already been said, though, that you were there for kind of half a day.
Well, okay.
He will say, I understand, but I have my orders, and those require you to, if you wish to come to Behel, to be in this cart when you do.
In the cart.
Sure. Okay. You sit down across from this rather bedraggled person. And the lizards skittering on the stones begin to turn around, and although it's a slightly uncomfortable, bumpy ride, you begin to make your way to Behel. What is Carillia doing as she travels? Do you avoid the guards who are flanking this cart, or...?
No, I want to walk with them, talk with them.
Sure. What do you say?
So, what can you tell me about the old witch?
The old... are you talking to the captain, or...?
Nah, one of the grunts.
Roll a quick persuasion check. Okay. Oh, well, I mean, we caught her making her way up northwards and thought it was odd. So, yeah, I think Captain's
You
got
thought
something
it was
going
odd
on
because
there.
she was going north?
Well,
It's
hiding
not a
while doing it.
particularly odd direction.
These are odd times. And someone going from bush to bush, you know.
Maybe she just likes nature.
Maybe. Well, that will all be determined in time, won't it?
What do you think's going to happen to her?
Well, I heard her coughing a lot, so I don't know. She may not be long for this world.
I think she just smokes a lot.
I don't know what that means.
They have smoking in this world.
Not here, though.
This is a guy that's never seen a cigarette.
He's seen smoke, but he's not seen a cigarette. No, cigarettes
No,
not
smoke
quite
without
there
fire.
yet.
A pipe.
Sure. He doesn't know what you're talking
Never mind. Cut to the cart.
about. Okay. Is any conversation happening in the car? Both of you.
Who are you?
Ailey watches watches you, and she says, "My name is Ailey. I've travelled here from Dwyer Inish. I'm travelling north and west. I seek the spire beyond Ordrind. Who are you?"
I am no one of importance. I just want to live a good life, but no one seems to want to let me.
You're important enough for how many guards to hunt you?
Many guards.
You have a strange understanding of importance, then.
I don't understand a lot, but I do understand freedom.
Indeed. What did you do to get yourself in this cart?
I'm not keen on telling all the information of my life to strangers who can use it against me, so I think I'll keep my trap shut. Thank you.
Ailey gives a tight smile, and it looks like she's happy with ending the conversation she didn't start.
Sure. There's a couple of minutes of heavy silence hanging in the air. Until maybe not within the cart, given that it's rattling and noisy, but Carillia and the guards will definitely hear kind of a few barks in the distance coming from behind and the clatter of stones as you turn back to see three similarly but not exactly the same dressed guards. These ones are not borne on lizard back, and they carry bronze swords rather than spears at their side, but they are kind of running, jogging down the roads, hailing out to the cart. The captain will who's leading this procession will divert his lizard around to come front, flanked by two of his men. Is Carillia doing anything?
I try to also look like a guard and pretend I'm holding a spear.
Okay.
Where did the barks come from? Did they have a dog?
No, that's in shouting. Hey, stop, that kind of
like
thing.
a metaphorical bar. Okay, right, gotcha.
Sorry.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I know you got excited for a second there. These.
The guards are like, bow wow.
These three men hustle up and then kind of stop as these lizards kind of form a line in front of them. And they, one of them will shout out, pointing towards the carts. That witch is the charge of Satan. What are you doing? I think you will all hear this shouting out. Kulia, are you near these people, or are you kind of staying away?
I'm near them.
Okay. You will see the captain. All of you can see the captain of the guard. I mean, the rest of you can look at the back of this cage, but the captain of the guard will swing his spear in front of these people, close enough for it to be an obvious threat. And Karillia, you will hear the captain first say, "So this is the witch. Great. Well, she doesn't belong to you dogs of Zeta, so I suggest you run back to your..." I don't even want to say, and just spits at the ground.
Do I hear this?
You can give me a perception check.
Okay.
There you go.
I'd like to make that check as well, please.
Okay, sure.
Would you like to roll, Liam, or should
I? Amelia, you got a 11 plus your perception.
+3, so 14.
14. I'm going to say you catch which tough dogs Zeta.
I say
Got a
shit,
22.
shit.
I got a
22. You, Ailey does hear all of it though. Closer to the door, keener ears.
So Ailey turns from the conversation and she says, "Witch, what have we got involved in?"
Something rather unpleasant, I'm afraid, but if you undo my handcuffs, I'll make it easier.
If you tell me what's going on, I can help you. And she looks at the handcuffs. But I don't have to be on the side of a disputed prisoner.
Yes, but you don't have to be on the side of a fucking prick who kills anyone who doesn't give him what he wants.
Ailey stretches out and she says, "I'd rather not antagonize some fucking murderous prick." And she closes her eyes. Unless I knew better.
Zeber wanted me to make a potion for a woman that he was in love with. I refused to do this because I don't believe that love should happen unnaturally and that women should be forced to conform for men. So I ran from him, and now he wants me dead.
He's a powerful man.
Very powerful.
A criminal?
Depends on what side you're on.
Is he a wizard?
Possibly.
Are there wizards who would oppose him?
Who's to say?
You might.
I might if I maybe got out of these cuffs, and we could talk about it later after I save our fucking asses.
Traded a lot on the fact that I don't know if Ailey can even open handcuffs.
Are
they locked,
you may not
or are
have
they
seen
just like?
handcuffs before. Yeah,
I mean,
they're locked. I mean, it will be a simple lock, but they are locked. I will say you probably have not seen manacles before.
Yes, and I have no such lock-picking tools.
No, you probably don't even know what a lock is.
Oh, really? I'm that like.
Yeah,
Cool.
I mean, you come from a fairly low-tech circumstance in terms of like what you know.
Sure. So Ailey will say, she'll break her aloof facade and say, "What even are those?"
They're designed to keep one's hands behind one's back, if you couldn't tell. But
Are they magic?
Are they magic?
They might be. I mean, they're definitely keeping your hands contained. I mean, you
Can I
can't get out of these things at all.
visually? I have a question, Liam, about I have spells that interact with ether technology.
Yes, this
Can
is
I
not vague.
so I can't, do I intuitively know if it's that kind of technology?
Looking at it, I mean, they are made of bronze, and you've never seen any of the works of the gods rendered in such a humble, mortal metal.
But in a more general sense, do I recognize like is there a definite sense of whether or not something is this sort of supernatural arcane technology or primitive?
I mean, you don't have a spider sense about it, but like you can. I think by looking at this, you can intuitively tell this is the works of humans, not gods.
Is this the kind of thing where if I had my knife and I jammed it in the mechanism and kind of just wrenched it, I might be able to just pull it open? Can I give that a go?
Sure, if you want to whip out a knife and come at this person, with hands behind their back, then yeah, absolutely.
So
no hands.
I would
no
say
hands.
I would say so. I think Ellie says, show me your bindings.
I show her my bindings.
Sure, you have to turn to the side to show her your manacled hands, but
I'd like to try and stick a knife blade in some joint and just try and like.
Absolutely. Give me I'll say sleight of hand, and I'm going to say disadvantage because you don't know what you're doing.
That
is not a powerful move, but at least the roll is a positive.
First game.
Just spend the entire rest of the campaign manacled.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Are you rolling, Grace, or?
How's a 9?
A 9. Charming.
Please tell me you have inspiration or something.
No, not yet.
I'm literally so glad that we haven't commissioned character art for these people yet, because you're all going to die, aren't you?
You pull out your flint dagger, and you kind of, I mean, there's plenty of holes that you can stick it in and like jiggle it about with, but you're not really sure which ones do what. And really, you just kind of like mark some grooves into the bronze here. You think that this is beyond you in terms of how you can interact with it, unless you want to just try to smash it with a knife.
I don't think I'll have any better chance at just like crushing it open.
Okay. I would say in the meantime, these 3 soldiers of Zeta who have kind of barked, "That's our witch." The captain has spoken to them. They are kind of spitting furious, but sizing up the situation, kind of slowly creep back. Although, Corellia, you'll perhaps catch one of them who's saying, "Zeta will know about this." And they're kind of left in the road, kicking at rocks, not sure quite what to do next before they turn around and head back the way they. Is there anything else that happens in this convoy as you travel towards Behel?
Don't
have to.
I'm assuming that along with my trestle, they've taken my weapons.
Yeah, they probably would have taken the knife on your person. You can see one of the guards outside is carrying. They're not discarding them.
Well, it says on my Sorry, what?
They're actually, if anything, they're taking care of. They're not just kind of tossing them about or anything.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's fine.
Could I ask?
I guess.
Oh, sorry.
I say to Ailey, thank you for trying anyway.
The works of these wizards are unknown to me.
Well, if you wish to know them, I suppose keep going down the path you're currently going on, and you'll have a great time.
Is Corellia saying anything or doing anything else, Shannon? Or
Can I ask the captain of the guards how likely it is the Wizards of Bahal will help Osiris?
Osiris. It's like Osiris and Cairo put together. If that helps.
And I'm gonna mix it up every time.
Damn it.
Cairo.
Speaking to the captain of the guards, well, the Wizards of Behel are not a united group, but well, kind of looks back to the rest of the guards. I mean, if I can speak frankly, the one I'm in service for however much longer, Ilek, really kind of depends on the mood that's taken. Certainly, if he's curious, but that's not probably what you want to hear.
Is there any wizard that's particularly benevolent and charitable?
You don't know many wizards, do you?
Never met one.
No. He decides to kind of not try to spare your innocence. No, there's not.
Is there any way to appeal to them, particularly?
Absolutely. Wizards are generally rather greedy. If you can trade with them, you can get them to do anything. That's what I've seen, at least. Don't tell the rest of the men I said this, by the way. If that's... I feel I can trust you.
Bad romantic.
Yes. Okay, do you say anything else? Or okay. So eventually you make your way to the city of Behel. It's approaching sunset. The gates to the city seem to lie permanently open. There's not much concern about security here, not yet anyway. And this cart begins to pass through the streets. At some points, a few slightly belligerent children may throw a few rocks at the thing, and you perhaps catch a few smatterings of them shouting about, plague bearers and, how everyone in that cart's going to die and so on. And you begin to follow a winding path as you get closer and closer to the tower. Corellia, going around, I mean, Lola and Ailey being in this cart, you're not getting that much of a sense of direction, given you can't see out of this thing well. You can only see out the front and back with the top over it. But Corellia, you think this is perhaps maybe a bit of an odd winding route this thing takes, given that the road Behel seem to go straight into the tower. And you can tell that is where they're heading to. But eventually, after a bends, you come to rest in a rather secluded courtyard, just a bit before the tower, this mighty tower at the center of Behel. And most of the guards are posted at the entrances to this place. The lizards are tacked up around a post, and the captain of the guard looks to you, Corellia, and says, "You said you wanted to speak to a wizard. Maybe it's best if you stick around then, at least for a time."
It also seems narratively convenient, so sure.
Well, well, look, I mean, things could have gotten a bit ugly over there, and I think
Not with you
all that
around.
was appreciated. Anyway, let's not tell anymore. You see that in this place is also rather humble attire, but you do see under their arm appears to be a lot. I mean, you've never encountered this substance before, but parchment. This thin kind of papery stuff. It's almost as if it's made of a plant, pale hue. The captain will reach over and pull the tarp down, exposing Ailey and Lola, and we'll turn around to this person waiting with this parchment and say, "Right, guards, don't look round. We've done this before. You know what's going on." Well, I suppose you don't, but that's the point. Nuh, should we do this? And this person kind of steps out into the center of this courtyard and puts down and rolls out this parchment, which you see has these very thin metal plates kind of held by leather straps within it that roll out these clear oblong slabs of chrome. And Nook will stand up and pull what appears to be just a kind of odd two kind of geometric cubes, and standing over this thing will strike almost like a flint and steel, strike again, and on the third one there's a kind of a scattering of starlight, and then an image begins to slowly apparate above these chrome slates and slowly coalescing into transparent being. You see a lion-headed person and a camel person and a man with a kind of fishy part to his face, and at the center a rather curious older man, his eyes and teeth of a bluish hue, and one arm considerably shorter than the other. Now, I hear you're the witch I'm looking for. Tell me, what do you desire most in the world? And I think we will end there.
Oh,
Fuck you.
Bullshit.
Cool. Yeah, first session. I think that went all right. My throat is sandpaper now. I really should have brought some water. But how did everyone else?
Oh, buddy.
Yeah. Great.
My legs are so numb from balancing this laptop on them.
Sorry, Shannon. Yeah, a bit narratively restrained, but it all came together in the end. Cool. Brilliant. Well, I hope anyone watching had fun. I certainly did. I can't attest for these people. Once the camera goes down, I'm tell me it's really traumatic. But yeah, so we'll hopefully all be here next week, 7 p.m. GMT. Tune in. Are we all good to end?
Who wants? Are we ending, or do we want to finish off with a bit of keyboard ASMR? Yeah, I think so.
Oh no,
too.
Harry, don't do it! Don't do it!
Oh,
no,
God, it's
let's all
beautiful.
sing a song.
Kill the stream, Harry. Kill the stream.
That's the sound
Bye.
of a 40-year-old keyboard. Bye, everyone.
Bye.